how's everything with you? How's your health? Everything with this pandemic going on.
Well, I am alive and kicking, so I am blessed. My health is good. Thankfully, nobody in my household has been affected. Um, Nobody's had, the COVID or had COVID. So we've been very, very, thankful for that, trying to stay safe as much as we can, but still trying to be active as well because, I mean, as you know, sometimes sitting around at the house is worse for your health than getting out and moving a little bit. So, yeah, we've been trying to balance it all.
That's encouraging to hear. Again, I'm joined with Sadie Lee Moss right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. So let's move ahead. And how did you get started into wrestling? How did it start off for you?
Oh goodness. Okay, so it's a really fun story. It's actually one of my favorite stories to tell. Um, I did not grow up watching wrestling. I remember Hulk Hogan from the movie The Nanny. I don't even really remember him as the wrestler. Uh, I met my husband almost 6 years ago when very first started dating. He told me about how much wrestling meant to him. I mean, generations of his family have watched wrestling. Him and his dad still have, recorded VHS tapes of wrestling. And I was like, oh my gosh, you could have literally picked any other sport, to watch. So you fast forward about 2 years. We've been married now for a little over a year. And I come home one night and he says, babe, says, how would you say to date night twice a week for 4 hours? I'm like, heck yeah, that sounds amazing. He goes, cool. I found a place where we can train to be professional wrestlers. And I said, you are crazy. And I mean, 3 years ago, we decided to let's go ahead and give it a try, and it's been full pedal to the metal ever since.
Took a lot of convincing, I'll tell you that much. So, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, and things worked out well in the end. I mean, getting to pursue um, this passion, this sport, this art form that is professional wrestling, and you get to do it with the man that you love. So it's a win-win for everyone involved.
Oh yeah. I mean, and it's really the only thing that made me hesitate is just because of the physical risk of it. I mean, we have 4 children, so obviously there was some hesitation there, but it really is a beautiful thing, and you can get hurt doing a lot of stuff. I'm not taking away from the risks that pro wrestling is. But not only do I get to do it with my husband, I also get to do it with one of my sons now. He trains, he wrestles. We have other children who are in other things, but they also enjoy different aspects of wrestling, whether it be, the managerial part. We're trying to get one of our sons convinced that he needs to just be this comical mouthpiece for somebody, or whatever it is. It's kind of become a family thing that we enjoy together.
That's awesome. Talk about next generation for the family. And the manager part, I see some Bobby the Brand Heenan in there. Maybe some Paul Heyman. Just depending on what direction he goes. But I like it. I definitely like it. So obviously the pandemic has affect all of us in some way, shape, or form. It's affected independent wrestling extremely hard. And while things are back on track for a lot of promotions, and some still kind of paused on it, and that's obviously before the vaccination. And now we have the vaccination, and now it feels like a lot of people are waiting and willing to get back at it. As you as a performer and with the kids and everything, how do you feel about wrestling and everything that's happening during this pandemic? How comfortable do you feel if you haven't already gotten back to the ring?
Um, so I have been blessed enough to get back to the ring at some different places, and those promotions have their protocols in place, whether it be mandatory testing, when we're in the locker rooms and stuff like that, we need to have our masks on, monitoring how many people are allowed at the show, different things like that. The promotions that have ran that I've been a part of have been very, very cautious, which I've appreciated. Temperature checks at the door for all the fans, things like that. It definitely put a huge hankering on things. I mean, the start of 2020 would have been me going into my third year of professional wrestling. I felt like I was kind of like getting a little bit of steam as far as kind of getting my flow together. We were wrestling almost every single weekend, and that's not to brag. That's just kind of how things were going for us. And then it was like, stop cold turkey. And I know that affected us. And at first it was kind of like, okay, we've got a couple weeks to take a break, kind of a little R&R situation here, play some games with the kids. But, for a lot of wrestlers, this is their bread maker. I mean, pro wrestling is what they make their living off of. And so it was really hard because, not only are you not able to go and wrestle and do the thing that you love, but you're not making money. You're not selling shirts. You're not selling 8x10s, and even people that were promoting, online and stuff, nobody had the extra funds to buy stuff like that because jobs have been lost. People weren't making money. So, we were fortunate, our household was, but, overall, COVID, I mean, it hit pro wrestling. I mean, it pretty much stopped it altogether. And I don't know, I hope that everybody's recovering now and everybody's ready to go. But I don't know.
Yeah, wrestling definitely took a huge hit, especially independent promotions financially. And usually they get big crowds, but because of the restrictions, they have to, shorten that just to, keep things afloat per se. So hopefully with this vaccination already out, it will encourage people to take it. And, who knows, maybe later this year. I mean, it's wishful thinking on my part, but hopefully later this year, and if more people get vaccinated when it's out there, people will be more open to take it, and promotions will be able to slowly but surely get back to, what things usually was. So, I mean, we'll see. I want independent wrestling to really pull through. It's important for independent wrestling to pull through, to support these wrestlers like yourself, and many others. It's very, very crucial.
Oh, yeah. Well, and even to the fans. I mean, you think about it. Most people have jobs. They have families. They have responsibilities. They have life, right, that they're dealing with and they're going through. So they need an escape. They need some form of entertainment. Some people choose to go to the movies. Some people go play a round of golf. Some people read a book. Some people, pro wrestling is their escape. For 3 hours, they get to sit there and, pro wrestling caters to all kinds of things. It caters to your theatrics. It caters to your artists. It caters to your combat physicality type people. And so, we want that for the fans just as much as we want it for ourselves, that we can give people that paradise for that little bit of time, that break from reality where they can just relax and not have to worry about anything.
The 2 to 3 hours on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday definitely helps. So, everybody, man, please support these promotions, especially those that are following the guidelines, obviously. And we'll get through this somehow. We will. So you mentioned 2 promotions that you've been working for, especially since you got back to the ring. Talk about the promotions you're working working with? And do they have any upcoming shows that you want to promote?
Yes. So most of the shows that I have worked have been my home promotion, which is Firestar Pro Wrestling. We just had our Jules Wrestling, which is an all women's show. We just had that this past weekend. We had Jazz. She main evented with Savannah Evans. And this coming weekend, we actually have two shows. There's a show at 12 o'clock. This is in Greensboro, North Carolina, on 517 Medley Street. There's a show at 12. It's the last fight at Medley Street. We are moving locations, and that is to be determined when, but that doors open at 11, show starts at 12, and then we are having our Path of Glory at 5 o'clock. So it's a double header. So if you're an early bird and you want to get home, or you want to come late, or you want to stay the whole day, whichever one, we're going to have good food, kind of cookout, baked spaghetti is going to be there, all kinds of desserts and snacks. So come on out. We do the temperature checks at the door. Everybody in the crowd is asked to wear masks the entire show. So they're still keeping those precautions in place. Another promotion, PWX. They're doing stuff in Rock Hill. I don't know. I think April 17th is their next show. I won't be on that one, but there are a lot of great names that will be on it. So if you are in the area, definitely check it out. But yeah.
Double duty for Five Star Pro Wrestling. Definitely going to be quite a day. And the weather's going to be, hopefully the weather in North Carolina is a lot warmer, for sure. I like warm weather. I don't like cold. I don't like no snow. I think a lot of people don't, but that's near nor there. Uh, so
Listen, I like the perfect weather. I don't want it to be too hot or too cold. I want to be able to just chill outside and not sweat and not freeze.
fair enough. I'm kind of in that department there. I'm more of a warm weather person, but I live for 70 or 80 degrees. I could live with that. Um, so given the winter storm and what it's done to us southern states, I can live for some 70 and 80 degrees. I'll live with that. So, Sadie, I definitely enjoyed chatting with you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate you. Um, Go ahead and promote your social media links. Where can people go check you out? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any other links out there?
Okay, on Facebook, I am Sadie Lee Moss. There is two Sadie Lee Mosses. So the one with the rolling pin is the one you want to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can also find me on Instagram, the Mother of Wrestling, Sadie Lee _Moss. I am on Twitter, but I have not quite figured out how to use Twitter yet. Same handle, Mother of Wrestling or Sadie Lee _Moss. You can find me on there. I also have a Pinterest board if you're a Pinterester. Once again, Mother of Wrestling, Sadie Lee Moss. You can find me under those names.